say, I got a feeling that it's gonna be a wonderful day. The sun in the sky has a smile on his face.
There's an old-fashioned home in New Hampshire with a light in the window for me.
Alrighty, let's get into it. Let's make sure my mic settings are all good. Let's wait for my shit to work real quick. Can we fast forward, please? Alrighty. Okay, my mic settings are working. Alrighty. First things first, everyone. I'll say it because it's wild though. Good morning, Retroverse. Even though it's 3 p.m. Good morning, people throughout the globe, the universe, and everything. So, God, today just went flying by, didn't it? I thought it was still morning. My God. My bad. I thought it was still morning, but that's okay. We'll keep the good morning vibe to it. Because it may be morning somewhere else, you know? But anyway, good morning and good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, Retroverse. My name is Retro Scorpion speaking here on the Retroverse Excel channel. How you all doing? It's good to see all you. It's, again, it's like 3 p.m., which is kind of weird because God, today just went flying by with quickly. This is probably one of the quickest flyby days we've had so far, you know? We normally don't have a day like this where it flies by that quickly. It's kind of funny. I find it kind of humorous if you want to get technical. But hey, it's nice. It's okay. But yes, big shout out to a couple people. Big shout out to Cosmo. Big shout out to Amelia. Big shout out to who else is on my list? Jake's Kingdom, Jack Hobson, Chuck Chases Effects, and all the other people. Shout out to all those people that I support as well as who support my channel and everything itself. First of all, I just realized that my fucking camera is mirrored. It's probably because I haven't really used it as well. Oh, yep, I'm mirrored. All right, there we go. Fixed. So anyway, before we get started, you all know how this works. Everyone, say hello to Bob. The freaking Bob. It's the Bob. And also, if you cannot handle the awesome power of the Retroverse and everything on this channel, please, everyone, revert and revise on the sign. Sarcasm. One of the main services I offer. You ain't gonna get sprung, but you may just get struck with some sarcasm. Anyway, welcome in, folks. It's a lovely day in the life of the Retroverse. We got a couple of talkative subjects of the matter to talk about, and the three main subjects are listed in our description of what we are going to discuss today on this morning's digest. Um, we got, to talk about grumpy cats at my sister's. Bob's obsession with disappearing at the worst possible times. And, this week's heat wave and the heat advisory struggle update as well as status. So, you know how this works. Anywho, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that like button, because one like equals one luck. Hit the subscribe button because one subscription equals one Lego brick to build a community. And don't forget to ring the bell icon because if you do, you'll be saved by the bell. So, with that being said, welcome in. It is time to get started. And as always, our donation links are at the bottom of the description. We have, we have my Cash App. Well, hold on, I didn't list them in order. We have my PayPal, my Cash App, and my BuyMeACoffee. Donate to one of those if you're feeling necessary. We are actually raising funds for me to get a new desktop PC because it turns out by October 14th, security updates for the Windows 10 is obsolete, which means possible things won't run on the computer properly and everything itself. So, with that being the case, we all know what we're talking about now. All right, let's go on the subject. Okay, we got our first chatter. Borkulus says, even northern QC is humid retro. Practically everywhere in North America, with the exception of Alaska and Yukon, are humid. Yeah, I noticed that. I'm only wearing a jacket today because it's cold in here for a change, at least for now, until it actually gets humid in here. But yeah, it was pretty. It's actually cloudy here, which gives us cloud cover from it being hot and humid. Today it's been different. It's been different. It's been a little bit cooler, but the ideology of the heat wave and all that we're discussing is from this past days of the week and all that. So, and I wanted to discuss that because it's such an interesting topic. It is such a much needed necessary topic to talk about, but we'll get right into that. First, I'm gonna pour myself a cup of coffee. and then we'll get right on. So just give me a sec. Please stand by while I pour myself some coffee. Okay, so first we need to talk because this is kind of a hefty deal. One of the irritating things I wanted to discuss on my little podcast here, as well as the updates on this particular video. I know some of you are probably wondering, like, well, maybe not none of these, but I wanted to discuss the ideology of the irritation I've been having with a specific game that was requested. I'm pretty sure I purchased it, but at the same time, I don't know. So, but it is the Splinter Cell Blacklist. Okay, Splinter Cell Blacklist is one of the greatest Splinter Cell games in the franchise. One of them, anyway. My only issue with it is the fact that because of severe things like heat, the game keeps on clicking me out. It keeps on kicking me out of the game as well as making me restart my progress. So that's my main issue I have, with the Splinter Cell Blacklist game is it doesn't run as good as the other games in the franchise, as well as the fact that anytime I make any sort of progress in the game, it tends to boot me out of the game and make me restart, which really kind of pisses me off to a certain degree. So for right now, I wanted to say this. I'm not saying that's the end of the Splinter Cell gameplays right now. I'm saying we're taking a bit of a small, short hiatus from playing Splinter Cell Blacklist just to kind of give my computer time to do its own thing. I'm actually wanting to say this because I don't know what time today or tomorrow. I'm hoping it's today because the guy, my adopted brother, said he installed the AC today. But the complication of that is it's his daughter, my adopted niece's birthday, which kind of complicates things. Which I know he's busy today because of that. So, and tomorrow it complicates things because he has to work, and then we got me and my house, his wife, the house lady, and me and the old man gotta go shopping tomorrow. Got both my checks, 25 and all that, but that's besides the point. The point is, I'm hoping at some point today he comes in here while I'm not streaming up, on, of course, because he doesn't like to be on camera, or I heard it all. Um, I'm hoping at some point today he can come in here and install the air conditioner in the window because I would do it myself. I'm not that savvy. I'm not that equipment savvy with installing an air conditioner. I'm not as weightlifting strong enough that I used to be to carry something like that in here. I have bad joint pain in my elbow and stuff. I also have piss poor grip on certain things. So, with that being the case scenario, I cannot install the air conditioner myself. I was actually instructed by him not to do it myself. So, yeah, so it's basically playing the waiting game. Here's the upside and the good part about getting an air conditioner in here. There's a main reason. If I were to get an air conditioner in that window, right, I'm basically giving my PC a second chance at surviving the heat. Air conditioner goes in the window. PC stays cool enough. This room stays cool enough to keep the PC cool enough. You know what I mean? And with the PC rank cool enough, it means basically running games which will include Splinter Cell Blacklist. And that's basically what I meant by short hiatus from Splinter Cell Blacklist. I don't know what we have scheduled the rest of the day. I actually took some time off this morning to chat with some friends on DMs and stuff and all that jazz. So I talked to Blakey, I talked to somebody else, different people I talked to that are via the YouTube verse. So okay. With that out of the way, we gotta discuss some other things. Grumpy Cat talk over at my sister's. It's not. I guess I shouldn't have put Grumpy Cat. I should put like Crazy or Silly Cat. But I get over to my mom's house, and the first this is kind of story time deal. I get over to my mom's house, or aka my sister's apartment, and the first creature of habit that greets me is my sister's cat Maki. But not soon after, my mom's cat comes fucking running, sprinting out of the room, jumps up on the cat and lets out a big meow. Right? Here's the thing. My mom's cat normally doesn't meow that loudly or at all. So it was kind of a real privileged treat to see my mom's cat be that excited to see me. So I have never had an animal like let alone a cat be that excited to see me. So it was nice. But yeah, it's that. But yeah, regarding the heat wave, we've had a heat advisory for the past week and a half. Today it doesn't look like we have much of a heat advisory at all. I think that kind of subsided. I can probably check the weather updates. I'm just hoping for our sake it doesn't fuck with anything else, It is what it is. I heard a story on the Microsoft article page. I heard a story on the Microsoft article page with so it turns out the Call of Duty Classic game got hacked so many times that they actually took it offline. So and it really is sad, getting rid of something of a franchise like that. The fact that they had to get rid of one of the classic Call of Duties, kind of a letdown. People just can't leave shit alone. They hack into it to get better scores and shit. It's like, play the game how it's supposed to be played. No hacking. That's kind of ruin it for others. But because the game was hacked so much and people couldn't play by the rules, the company Activision actually took the game off the online market. I think is how it goes. I'll have to look into it later and see exactly what we're dealing with. So, aside from that, I got a little intel from one of my YouTube people, that PlayStation Premium has basically included Twisted Metal 3 and 4 on PlayStation Premium, as well as, what did he say earlier? Something. All your Call of Duty are mine. Ha ha. Welcome in, Air Spider. How you doing, buddy? Welcome in. How's it going? What's going on, my favorite spider dude? Good morning to you, sir. Even though right now it's 3:31 p.m. and it's about ready to be dinner time in about a little bit. In about 2 hours, it's gonna be dinner time. Can you believe that? I thought it was still morning. Time went by that quickly. Time went by that quickly that I thought I was waking up and it was still morning. It's crazy. And we ended up doing this morning podcast late, so Air Spider says all good, brother. Good thing. That's a good thing, Air Spider. Good to hear, buddy. Glad you're doing good. I'm quite confused, honestly, to be honest, with the fact that it's the time. The time has gone by so quickly. Yeah, definitely getting hungry. Oh yeah, hell yeah. I had breakfast this morning. I had a partial muffin. I had a banana, and I still have yet to eat my lunch. I have a burrito, like one of those microwavable burritos sitting around here. I have yet to microwave it and eat it because I don't know. I thought it was still morning. I'll probably heat that up in a little bit. But probably by the time I get ready to heat up, it'll be dinner time, and my adopted bro will have my dinner laying on the table. I'm hoping I can get my adopted bro in here to install the AC before tomorrow because tomorrow he's got to go to work. So, and with that being the case scenario, I will have to wait even longer to install the AC, which will mean waiting even longer to run games properly. So that's the only issue I see with this. So, but yeah, what are you gonna do about it, right? Scheduling is scheduling. No one can really twist that. Some people are flexible, some people are not. Also, I have an update on my kind of mental health sort of deal. I think it was Monday. Yeah, Monday I had like a therapy intake appointment. It went well. I was talking to the therapy guy. I was doing my intake. It turns out my grandma's got to fill out some files, and I had to call her yesterday to get those files filled out. Now, when I say therapy appointments, we have to sit there and think, what does this mean for scheduling my live streams for the channel and shit? Here's the problem I see with it. The problem I see with it is the fact that the therapy appointments will also intervene and interject with my schedulings and stuff for my live streams. But the best part about it though is therapy appointments don't normally last long. It's just a quick talk and then I go back to work. So the beauty of it though, the other beauty of it is that I have the software Zoom for Zoom calls on my computer now, and they can just call me directly from Zoom. So, so I don't actually have to leave my place to go to some weird therapy building just to waste more time driving back and getting back on schedule. I can be right here and right there. Um, so with that being the case, therapy is quite important. So, mm. But yeah, bottom line, I actually had to call my grandma yesterday and have her just take care of the paperwork. First of all, according to the guy I was talking to via therapy intake, they sent her the forms to file out and fill out, and she somehow never signed them, and they never gone back. So I had to get on my grandma's ass about that. Regardless, that's how it is. So, but yeah, let me just put you guys on hold for a sec. Let's go to commercial break. Let's take a break. Let's do a little commercial break, and I will be right back. I have to check some emails. I'm not leaving my seat. I'm just like putting the be right back screen up and doing a commercial break. Sit tight. Okay, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. All right, we are back on the scheduling live stream. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to check a couple of emails because I was supposed to do that this morning, but I never got around to it. So, but yeah, the one thing we have to remember is that oh, that reminds me, I have to discuss something with you guys. So, as you all also may know, this month is also my birthday as well. Again, I don't know what's going on for my birthday. So, for those that don't know, my birthday is this month on the 20th. I don't know what we have scheduled for my birthday on the 20th. And yes, it's this month, July on the 20th. I think me and my mother discussed probably me spending the week of my birthday over at my mother's slash sister's apartment and making sure that I spend time with family during my birthday. But at the same time, I know that there's going to be people on YouTube that want to help me celebrate my birthday by me being on the camera and all that shit, and all that jazz, and all that good stuff. Um, I'm not sure what's going on for my birthday. Period. Regardless, my mom and I were discussing what's gonna happen. Um, like she asked me, she's like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And and at the time, I didn't really know. So I was discussing with my mother that there's a bit of a dilemma. She's like, "What kind of dilemma?" And I said, "Well, because in October." She's like, "Yeah, what about October?" She's like, "You got no retroing thing going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, haha. Retroing is happening on October 25th, October of 2025. Um, I was telling her about the dilemma with that though. Um, the thing is that I was telling her about my dilemma with Windows 10 security updates and all that being expired by October 14th. And she's like, "Okay, well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, because both my devices don't qualify and don't have the rights and are not compatible for Windows 11, I'm going to have to get new devices." She's like, "Let me see what we can do." And I'm like, "What you?" And I looked at her, I kind of gave her a look like, Mom, you guys can't afford that." She's like, "Well, let me see if your brother and I can do half and half to get you a half decent Windows laptop, one with a lot of space on it." And I'm like, "All right." So after that, I started looking on eBay, trying to help her out. Probably look for a half decent Windows 11 laptop that's, affordable, has the right space. So Ma comes into the living room and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Helping you look for a laptop so you know what I want." And Ma looks at me, she gives me a look like, "Kid, we're going to buy you a fresh fucking new one." And I'm like, and you know something, I love my mother half to death. But I looked at her, I says, "Are you fucking out of your mind? You know how much them things cost?" She's like, "We'll figure it out." And I'm like, "All right." And Ma gives me another look, a little raised eyebrow, and says, "You don't think we can do this?" I says, "Ma, I know you're trying to help me, but I also don't want you to spend too much money." And Ma says, "Kid, it's your birthday. It'll be all worth it in the end." I'm like, "All right." So right now I'm desperately waiting for my birthday to see what kind of Windows laptop my mom's gonna pull up with. Um, and we'll see how this goes. On the side of things, the problem I see, the other dilemma part of it is that aside from getting a Windows 11 laptop for travel, I will still need to figure out myself how to replace the PC that I currently have. Because I know it pisses me off too. It pisses me off that not really badly pisses me off. Like it irritates me to a certain degree that I just got this PC and I already have to like replace it because not because it's broken, not because it's a shit PC, but because Windows 11 is coming out fully by October 14th, and whatever software is on this PC will be obsolete. So that's the part that I find kind of irritating. So that's the part I find very irritating to a certain degree each year. So I will need to figure out a way to earn enough money by chores and stuff, or maybe if I'm lucky, win a big lottery ticket and then buy a new PC. You know what I'm saying? Normally, I try the lottery with 1 or 2 tickets when I get a $25 check, and then if I win, normally if I win a ton of money like the $20 I won last time, normally split part of it with my housemate Beetle Bill because he's helped me a lot in the past. The rest of it I put like on a gift card and a good amount of it on a gift card, and then I use the gift card itself to order what I need online. So, if necessary, and I get paid by like a yard chore for my neighbors or something, whatever the reason, like via physical under the table cash, like either it's by my neighbors, like via my neighbors paying me like job money for doing a side job, or even like winning a good amount in the lottery. Regardless, that money is going on a gift card, a very big spending amount of gift card, and I will use that money to buy a PC. So, Airspire just said something about technology. He says, I'm still using an iMac from like 2010 in the recording studio. Oh, do tell. That's kind of funny. Wait, did you say iMac? iMac? What the hell's an iMac? You mean like just like a Macintosh computer? Like, what do you mean by that? I don't remember that. I've heard of MacBooks, like Mac laptops and Macintosh computers and stuff, but I've never heard them called iMacs. I know there's iPad, iPod, iPhone. I've never heard of an iMac. That's kind of cool. So, hold on. Yo, Aerospace, you got me curious. Hold on, let me look that up. iMac 2010. Computer. iMac? So it is a thing. Sounds like it sounds like it downshifts gears. It's just a screen. iMac. Interesting. Look at it. Let me look at this. Oh my god, that's kind of cool. So iMac's not really a PC, it's just a screen. It's like a monitor with a keyboard and stuff. That's cool. That's interesting. Something crawling on my keyboard like a mobile bump. That's really interesting. Should be a silver monitor with a keyboard. Hold on. Airspy, would you be open to me sharing screen and showing what you have, like via picture? Hold on. Images, share. All right, let me pick one of these. This looks like a good one. That's what you talk about, brother. Is this what you're talking about? I'm pretty sure this is what you're talking about, right? It's still doing its job. The OS and all the parts in the screen. Nice. The operating system and all of it's in the screen. There's a problem with your logic, man, with me. Yeah. See, I don't use Apple products when I do my PC work because, one, they're freaking expensive as hell. Two, I'm not much of an Apple product guy. I usually use Windows or Microsoft. Excuse me. I usually use Windows or Microsoft. I'm gonna highlight this comment. Most recording studios have one. That's it. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, when you now Air Spider, I've heard you use the terminology recording studio. You know, use the terminology recording studio. Like when you say recording studio, what do you do? Like music recording? Are you saying like music recording, album recording, video recording? Like what do you do? What's your recording? So when you say recording, so I use Pro Tools and the software this way more, way more Mac friendly. Oh, cool, cool. But yeah, when you say recording, what do you mean by that? I understand what you're using for software and stuff, but when you say like recording, right? What department of recording we talking? Like video recording, music recording, live stream recording? Like what we talking here? Because there are several different kind of recording basis things, you know. Airspire, I'd let you up on the panel if I could, you know, so you can kind of explain this, and that would be only on your consent. But here's a problem. Oh, hold on, we got an answer. He says music mostly, but I am pretty much capable of anything: music, video, photography, etc. Cool. So what? What you're saying is you specialize in music and audio recording, but you're capable of other things. Like aside from like music recording, right? What else do you specialize in? Are you like a photographer? Are you good at photography as well as music recording? Are you more of a video maker, content creator? What's going on there? And I'm only asking this just to get a little bit of gain to know what your skill set is. Cause maybe one day I can learn a thing or two, but that's okay. Mm, exactly. Ah, okay. So you specialize in music basis of recording. Cool, cool. That's nice. Yeah, music. Music's nice, you know. Airspire, when you now I got a secondary question that pertains to your answer of music recording. Now, Airspire, do you like post your music that you record on like YouTube? Are you on Spotify? Do you like use that third party music posting site SoundCloud? Like what do you do? What's your taste? What tickles your fancy? Like what's your base? What's your basis of what's your basis of using? You know? He said, okay, Airspire says, I started as an artist. There were no local studios. I had to become my own. Interesting. So you were your own man. You were your own guy, your own manager, all that stuff. So what does this pertain? You know, now that that's sorry, cramps. So when you start out, there were no local studios. You had to become your own. Okay. Okay. He said I was a bigger artist in the blog era. So back when people typed blogs. Okay, we're talking like early 2000s, probably 90s, that sort of deal. Okay, Airspot, I'm gonna ask like not really a personal question, but mainly date and time sort of deal. Date and time sort of deal pertaining to this. Okay, Airspire, when were you starting out as an artist via Blogger? What exact decade or year was your start out? Like 90s, 98, 2000s? Like if you can remember far back, when did you really start? So he said never signed by worked with major artists. Cool, cool. So when you're talking like blog era, right? You're talking like 90s, late 90s, or 2000. What are we looking at here? And I'm only asking because this is a very interesting subject. This is very interesting. I find it very. I feel like I can indulge in this subject because, as far as I'm concerned, I used to type blogs a lot. I actually liked typing. Here's the thing. I love typing blogs. Blogs are cool. I just don't do it enough anymore because I'm constantly making content. So, Airspire says he started making music in like the 4th grade. Okay, so when we're talking 4th grade, okay, that's fine. But when did you become a big artist? Is what I'm more or less interested in. 4th grade, that's cool. Origin story when you started out. But I'm more or less pertaining to this. But you say you were a bigger artist in the blog era, so. Okay. I was in talks for record deals in late 90s. My mixtape run was from 2003 to 2012. Interesting. He released about 20 projects. Okay, cool. Nice. 20 projects. We're talking from late 90s to about. We're talking late 90s was the start of his Big Bang career. And then we're talking up to 2012. Okay, cool. So, and you released 20 projects. Pertaining to this answer, Airspire, like, how did it go with the 20 projects? How many of them worked well? Like, what was the outcome of most of them or all of them? What was the outcome? How did it go? I guess if you could rate some of them, It wasn't like a major. I wasn't like a major artist, but all the same people know each other. Cuckoo, like a community, kind of like what YouTubers go through content creation. We know other streamers, that sort of deal, right? That kind of deal. It's still, even though it's like music making, it's still considered content creation. It's just not like video content. You're making like music media content. So I see where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. That kind of makes sense. So, but yeah, that's nice, Airspot. Good on you. I don't think a lot of people refuse to understand that the toughest industry of content creation is music. And that's why I give you credit for Air Spider, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I can make a mixtape left, right, blah blah blah." Not exactly the case. Making music is one of the hardest industries of content creation that has ever been known. Like, live streaming is probably the easiest content creation uh, department of content creation. So then you got video recording, photography. Photography is probably the second hardest. So it was an ongoing process of battling the bigger artists for the same airtime. So some projects did better than others. Cool. But yes, I feel, in my own opinion, and anyone can quote me on it, correct me on whatever. My opinion still stands. Um, but yes, music is one of the hardest departments and career departments of content creation. Not only are you editing something, you're editing something that doesn't involve a picture, doesn't involve a visual other than like squiggling lines that involve audio. That's the main deal. And that's why a lot of people who are cocky, not you, Airspire, I can see you're good at what you do, but we have people who say, "Oh, I can make a mixtape real fucking fast." Those kind of people. I feel that people don't realize that making music is not exactly a walk in the park. There's a lot of editing process to it. You have three factors. The making of the recording, which you have to get it right the first time or second time or whatever. The second part, the editing process. Not only do you have to put the slabs of sound and music together, but you also have to make sure it sounds like it's entwined. That's the part I see with it. That's the part I see. according to airspaces, I did all that myself too. I had to learn how. Most people have to learn how to do a lot of things, you know. Like it's like what's the best analogy I see here? Learning how to ride a bike, right? Learning how to ride a bike. Not everyone has a father or mother to teach them, but evidently everyone starts as training wheels, and then eventually you take off the training wheels and learn to balance your bike. It's same scenario, same difference. And most people have to learn to do it themselves. Me personally, I had to learn how to I had to learn how to make content properly, most of it myself. I mostly had to learn on my own how to work a computer and recording process, as well as learning how to add screen effects and stuff. But in a sense, I did have help. Record the music, edit, mix, master, then do all the videos myself. Record, edit, drop those, and then drop those. Did all my artwork for the most part. Very DIY. Oh yeah, very do it yourself. 150%. I agree. Like it's crazy, you know. It's kind of interesting to a certain degree how there's different varieties of content creators as well as there's like more than one department of content creation. So when it was like back in probably 80s or 90s, all you really had for a department of content creation was music, photography, and video. That's it. That's it. You come over, you come to, I'm an, according to Dia Aerospace, he says, I'm an autistic kid raised by a, ooh, this is quite a lore story. I'm an autistic kid raised by a schizophrenic grandma. We do the work, lol. I see that. That's an origin story and a half. Nice. It's really awesome that you were able to be raised by your grandmother who's schizophrenic and still be out there, you know? Me, I am also an autistic. I was diagnosed with autism at a very young age. But here's the difference though. I was diagnosed with autism pretty young, but I didn't fully understand my autism till about probably 17 years old. And even as equally interesting and confusing, I was not told that I was autistic till about the age of 12 or 13, you know. I guess if you wanted to put it into perspective of timeline, I was diagnosed with autism like fully. They took the test and everything around 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. Didn't get told about what I was diagnosed with until 12 or 13 because my mom and Graham fig- my mom and Graham could figure my mom and Graham figured it would be a lot easier for me to understand at 12 and 13 to get started. So, and then of course around 17 or 18 years old, I fully understood. Oh, I could tell. Yeah, I'm glad you could tell. We know each other pretty quickly. I didn't know until I was almost 30. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight, Airsprite. And I'm not trying to get personal here. I'm just saying, as another autistic from one autistic person to another, it's kind of interesting to hear lore stories. You didn't know until you was 30. When you say you don't know until you're 30, were you not diagnosed till you were 30, or someone didn't tell you until you were 30? Is what I'm looking at here, Air Spider. You were diagnosed at 30, or you didn't know via someone not telling you until you were 30 and you were diagnosed earlier? Kind of like my situation. Or were you both, like diagnosed at 30 and told at 30? Like, what's your story? Because me, I was diagnosed at 5, didn't get told till 13, and didn't fully understand it till about 17 or 18 years old. So, like when I say fully understand at 17 or 18 years old, it's my personal way of saying I didn't know how to handle or deal with my autism until 17 or 18 years old. So that's the way I put it. So, all right, we have a 7-minute warning. We have a less than 7-minute warning before we shut this down. We have less than 7 minutes. Actually, we have 6 minutes until we shut this down and then move on. But we have 6 minutes to discuss. So just give me a 6-minute warning. He said, I didn't have any clue anything was wrong. Started talking to doctors and found out. Okay, so what you're saying is they diagnosed you and then you found out right at the get-go. Interesting. Because for me, they did the test and stuff. For me, on my Asperger's and the autism diagnosis, they diagnosed me at 5 years old. Mom didn't, and my grand didn't tell me until about 12 or 13. And then I didn't fully understand or know how to deal with it until about 17 or 18 years old. That's my backstory of it. So, all right, guys. With that being said, I'm going to shut this down before the 6 minutes are up. We've been talking like almost an hour. I got to go talk to my adopted brother. What's this? This should be interesting. Airspire says, I found a report card from kindergarten that mentions it through grandparents said they would look into it, but they never did anything. My wife, oh shit, my wife figured it all out for me and got me seen. Same SB. Asperger's. Okay, I know what you mean. All right, Air Spider and everyone, take care of yourselves. We are going to shut this down. Please, everyone, have a nice day. Like I said, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, all that jazz. Leave a comment in the description below if you like this video. Feel free to drop a donation in one of those donation links if necessary or if you feel like it. It's not required. It's optional. It's not mandatory to donate. So do not feel obligated or even necessary to donate unless you feel necessary to donate. And by all means, we'll see you next time. May the retro be with you. Stay retro, and if you're not retro, you're repro. Live long and prosper, peace and long life, and kapla. And don't forget, folks, if you haven't seen this full video or live stream, either restart it or please be kind and rewind. Good. I'll see you guys in a little bit. When I gotta go talk to my adopted brother and see if we can work towards installing the AC. Take care, guys. Peace. Hold on, I gotta get some music going.